Well, new at 3, Governor Ron DeSantis is officially running for re-election next year. Our CBS 12 News reporter Jay O'Brien, he sat down in an exclusive interview with the governor today, and he joins us live in Tallahassee with those details. Jay.
Yeah, Lily, good afternoon. We've just sat down with Governor DeSantis. We're still piecing through what was a lengthy conversation with the governor that went in a number of different directions to mask mandates in schools, the governor's opposition to vaccine mandates, the special session that will soon bring lawmakers back here to Tallahassee to try to ban private businesses and local governments from requiring that their employees get vaccinated. But we also talked to the governor about comments he made earlier today where he asked for more information, more truth, as he put it, about vaccinations. Those comments had been criticized as giving fuel to the fire of anti-vaxxers who sometimes take their cues from Governor DeSantis. We asked the governor if that bothered him. He said that he doesn't see anti-vaxxers as taking their cues from him. And then he talked about his own personal experiences when it comes to getting vaccinated. And he revealed something, frankly, that we had never heard from him before. Here is that tape.
We know, I think we have a better understanding of this, reduces the chance of death and hospitalization. Unfortunately, does not mean you won't get COVID. I mean, we were told, I know people throughout Florida this summer fully vaccinated. That was not uncommon. And so my parents, I recommended that they take it. They're older, and I thought that was worth.
It's the first time I've heard you say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that was true. That was the first time we had heard Governor DeSantis talk about not his own personal vaccination. We knew the governor was vaccinated, but the fact that he encouraged older relatives to get vaccinated. And that's newsworthy because coming from a governor who so often gets accused of being anti-vaccine, those were certainly surprising comments. Again, something we had not heard from the governor. There's other news to come out of this interview that we will bring to you at 5 and 6 tonight, and then later at 11 o'clock tonight. That, again, includes what the governor wants to see in terms of banning businesses in Florida from requiring employees get the shot, but also the governor opening up about his sometimes tense relationship with President Biden.
A clogged global supply chain could last well into next year. Florida Senator Rick Scott was at the Port of Palm Beach to discuss possible fixes with local industry leaders. But did the senator just miss a chance to be part of the fix?
Yeah, our Andrew Lawfome asked the senator about his no vote on a recent bipartisan infrastructure bill. Andrew is in Riviera Beach tonight with the answer.
Florida's 15 ports, which are yet to see any problems, are open to shipping from the backlogged West Coast. But at last check, no ships have gone through the Panama Canal to take them up on the offer. One of the things Senator Rick Scott is working on is subsidizing the cost of going through the canal. At the meeting today, shipping, food, and construction industries were all representative part of his roundtable discussion. Scott touted investments he made in infrastructure as governor of Florida to help keep the supply chain moving and provide well-paying jobs. But on Capitol Hill, he was one of the no votes on the bipartisan infrastructure plan that's now waiting for the president's signature.
Senator, you talked about the value of the investment in the infrastructure when you were governor. There's an infrastructure bill that just passed that you voted no to. So how do you make sense of all that?
Well, because I would vote for infrastructure. That bill wasn't infrastructure. Here's infrastructure. Roads, bridges, airports, and seaports. All right? Less than half that bill did that. On top of that, my bills, I spent $85 billion on roads, bridges, airports, and seaports. Guess what? I also cut taxes 100 times in fees, and I paid off a third of state debt. They told us that bill was going to be paid for. Guess what? CBO said it's at least one bill, $250 billion deficit.
For their part, some of the panelists were happy about the infrastructure bill passing, but remained concerned about other economic headaches. Inflation is the top concern, as is losing potential employees to the federal vaccine mandate should it survive in the courts.
The newly released illegal immigration numbers are sounding alarms. Foreign nationals crossing into America from the southern border are at an all-time high. In fact, it's the worst it's been in decades.
Yeah, some in fact calling the president to declare a national emergency. Well, tonight, our CBS 12 News I-team has learned that many of those recent crossings are people from Haiti who are heading here to South Florida. Our chief investigator, Mike Magnoli, with this special report.
We all know how tough things are in Haiti right now, as it's been widely reported, a presidential assassination on the heels of many natural disasters. So you can understand why people are trying to leave Haiti. In September alone, more than 17,000 Haitians crossed into the United States at the Texas-Mexico border. And when we're talking about those who were apprehended versus those who slipped through undetected, by most estimates, it's 3 to 1. We're about to take a look at this crisis through a unique perspective. A Jupiter man who was in the middle of everything, trying to help.
I felt like I needed to do more, so that's what we felt we could do at that time.
John Rourke gives a soccer ball and some candy to a Haitian boy under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas. It's the bridge which came to symbolize the out-of-control nature of the illegal immigration crisis. Rourke led a humanitarian mission to the border in September and unexpectedly found himself in the center of the action that was making international headlines.
More than 12,000 migrants, mostly Haitians, have crossed here to this makeshift camp and are waiting to be processed into Border Patrol custody.
And it wasn't like, 100 people or 200 people, it was thousands of people, from newborn babies to older men and women. Just from my personal experience talking with the thousands of people that were underneath that bridge, it was probably 85%. The vast majority are coming, and specifically to South Florida. There are some that were saying that they were going to Orlando, but for the vast majority, it was Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. Why? Familia, family. They have a lot of family members, cousins, sisters, brothers that have been living here for a while and kind of have their roots established. So it's an easy way for them to come from where they're coming and immediately have a place to live.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is currently suing the Biden administration over this. In a 23-page federal lawsuit, DeSantis contends that the bulk of illegal migrants, 70% is the number that the governor cites, will come to Florida. And the governor believes this administration needs to reimburse the state for the cost of handling that influx of homeless, jobless, undocumented immigrants.
They're dealing with everything at once.
Daniela Gruenthal from Wellington is the founder of Domes for Humanity. Her group is involved in a project that aims to keep Haitians in Haiti. Starting in 2022, they'll go to the island several times a year to build affordable housing, literal domes that are disaster resistant. On her most recent trip to Haiti just a few weeks ago, she saw the impact of the presidential assassination firsthand. The country is in chaos, and she left in the nick of time. On the day of her departure, a group of 17 Americans were kidnapped right outside the Capitol.
My impression of Haiti now is that people are so desperate. They need food, they need fuel, they need adequate shelter. The temporary shelters that they have for tents and tin shacks that they're living in is just not cutting it.
I can't say that if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't be trying to do the same thing, because I would be trying to better my life for my family. But there has to be a better way to take care of these people in their own nations, maybe.
And Florida has the largest Haitian population in the United States, more than 500,000 people.